Christ, our first drive-in service. Notice that's not drive-by service, it's drive-in service. We're glad you're with us. There's a couple of things that we want to remind you of. Number one, stay in your car. I'm going to repeat that. Please stay in your car. This is one of the guidelines that we've been provided by the CDC and also by the state. So please stay in your car. Masks are appropriate if you should be in the car with your own family, so if you decide you're all living together anyway, that's all right. We are not taking an offering by hand today. We'll continue to do our offerings by mail, by bill pay, by all those kinds of things. So thank you if you brought money, but we are not going to handle money today. We appreciate that. So we're glad you're with us today. I don't have to say welcome to virtual church. We actually can see each other. Do you see your friends up there? Yes. So glad you're here with us. As we gather today, we offer respects to the ancestors and the descendants of the original people of this land, and we invoke their presence. And as we do each Sunday, we welcome everyone by saying, whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Also, I think you already know 99.7 is the FM station which will be broadcasting the service. So be sure you're tuned in because you get to sing now. We're going to sing Draw the Circle Wide. This is our very own church recording of this song. So let's sing with great conviction. Draw the circle wide. Travis?
Circle
join me in prayer in one voice? Spirit of change and mystery, we come to you now in this moment of farewell. We've spent almost 11 years together with as spiritual leader and through the congregation. And now we say goodbye as we begin a new part of our journeys as retirees and faith community. As we remember all of the changes we've embraced during this time, we are grateful for the lessons we've learned and the ministries we developed. Give us strength to continue to be the church in our neighborhood and world. Help us find courage to speak truth to power in voices which can be heard. And most of all, keep us focused on our mission and vision, which allows us to move forward, even though we can't see the path ahead. In your many beautiful names, amen. I'd like to address especially the young folks right now to talk a little bit about what it means to move into the future not knowing what the future holds for us. We know that we can't tell what's going to happen tomorrow. For instance, today I knew it was going to rain. But guess what? It stopped. So we never really know what's going to happen in the future, but as Christians, we believe that with faith we can move into the future without needing to know. That we can trust that God will lead us in the future as we move ahead together in our community of faith. And so, my young friends, always keep in mind that what the future holds, we can't know, but we can believe that God is with us. Amen. Our Now Testament this morning is a piece by the poet Jan Richardson called The Call, for those who have far to travel. If you could see the journey hold, you might never undertake it. Might never dare the first step that propels you from the place you've known toward the place you have not known. Call it one of the mercies of the road, that we see it only by stages as it opens before us, as it comes into our keeping step by single step. There's nothing for it but to go, and by our going, to take the vows the pilgrim takes, to be faithful to the next step, to rely on more than the map, to heed the signposts of intuition and dream, to follow the star that only you will recognize, to keep an open eye to the wonders that attend the path, to press on beyond distractions, beyond fatigue, beyond what would tempt you from the way. There are vows that only you will know, the secret promises of your particular path, and the new ones you will need to make when the road is revealed by turns you could not have foreseen. Keep them, break them, make them again. Each promise becomes part of the path, and each choice creates the road that will take you to the place where at last you will kneel to offer the gift most needed, the gift that only you can give. Join me in singing Holy Spirit, Santo Espíritu.
opportunity to say a few words from me to you. I'm so thankful for how warmly you have welcomed both of us, and especially Don, but for me too, because we know that I decided to keep my membership at the church where Don and I went before he answered his call. And so I went to church there a lot of Sundays, but I also came here a lot of Sundays and for a lot of other events. And you welcomed me so warmly and lovingly. And it's meant a whole lot to me. One of my favorite things is that one time Travis said to me, "How come we only see you when there's food?" And there's been a lot of food, but you saw me quite a lot. And not only for the potlucks that we had and the Tuesday dinners and those things, but for the other things that we did, like snowcap auction, where not only did we eat that night, but we ate other nights because of the things that we purchased. The Harden's barbecue dinner, which we went to several times, the seafood dinner that we had this year, and all those kinds of things. So those are great memories. When I did come to church, I was always welcomed and loved and hugged, and it meant the world to me. Thank you so much.
We love you.
As Jesus was leaving the temple, one of the disciples commented in passing, "Look, teacher, what huge stones these are! What wonderful buildings!" Jesus replied, "See these great buildings? Not a single stone will be left on another. Everything will be torn down." As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives facing the temple, Peter, James, John, and John asked him privately, "Tell us, when will all this happen? What will be the sign that all this is about to happen?" Jesus began by saying, "Be on your guard, that no one deceives you. Many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and they will deceive many. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. Things like this must happen, but the end is still to come. Nations will rise against nations, and empire against empire. There will be earthquakes throughout the world and famine. Yet this is only the beginning of the labor pains. Thanks be to God."
We've all had moments of truth in our lives, those times when a light seems to go on in our brain, illuminating something we've struggled with. These aha moments usually catch us by surprise, and some kind of change. Jesus' description of big changes in store in religious structure, which was part and parcel of life for Jews, must have been a huge shock to his disciples and anyone who heard his comments. Even when we know in our hearts the status quo is not good for us, it's hard for us to imagine a different future. And this phenomenon would appear to be even more present in our own time. Black Lives Matter, COVID-19, and the list goes on. In the scripture for today, Jesus points to the difficulties of the temple structure, both the building and the human framework of leadership. He reminds us God is always doing a new thing. And part of the way we embrace change is acknowledging the past. We all know how comfortable we get with the way things have been. But we're called into new and even more amazing situations, partly because of how we navigated the past. I am who I am today precisely because of everything I've experienced up to this point. Because of all the changes I've come through. And yet, change is difficult. have to deal with our own feelings of loss and fear. We love who we are and who we are as a church, but why do we have to change? Because life is change. Everything about our lives is rooted in change. Growth, development, learning. Why is it so difficult? Maybe because change happens so quickly. Maybe because we are creatures of habit. Maybe because we are fearful of what we can't see. One thing I know for sure, it is not because we are Christians. In fact, because we follow Jesus the Christ, we're called to be leading the change, not shrinking from it. This was brought home to me in a big way on a youth mission trip to El Salvador in 2009. The Salvadoran people had been subject to cruel and inhumane treatment by a series of governments from the Spanish colonials to the ruling oligarchy. As the oppression became more and more vicious, a bookish priest named Oscar Romero felt called to speak out against the oppressors. A student of liberation theology, he understood God's preferential option for the poor and the oppressed. And as Archbishop of El Salvador, he spoke truth to power, eventually paying with his life. Monsignor Romero wrote about the church's role in leading change. He said this: "It is obvious that the church in recent years has a new vision of the world and its relationship to it. Anyone who fails to understand or to accept this new perspective is incapable of understanding the church. To remain anchored in a non-evolving traditionalism, whether out of ignorance or selfishness, is to close one's eyes to what is meant to be, what is meant by authentic Christian tradition. For the tradition that Christ entrusted to his church is not a museum of souvenirs to be protected. It's true that tradition comes out of the past, and that it ought to be loved and faithfully preserved, but it always has a view to the future. It is tradition that makes the church new, up to date, effective in every historical epoch. It is a tradition that nourishes the church's hope and faith, so that it may go on preaching, so that it may invite all men and women to the new heaven and new earth God has promised." Romero reminds us that we are indeed a people of faith. Just look at our scriptures. There are stories of people of faith who knew wherever they landed, God landed with them. Imagine Abraham climbing the mountain of sacrifice with his bound son. Remember Moses' mother casting her infant son afloat on the Nile in a basket at the exact time Pharaoh was killing all Jewish warriors. And Mary, when the angel Gabriel tells her she will bear the Christ child. Imagine Jesus' willingness to touch a leper for the first time. They all had faith, even in the midst of struggle. Anne Lamott, the author and storyteller, has pointed out that the opposite of faith is not doubt, it is certainty. Let me repeat that. The opposite of faith is not doubt, it is certainty. So what is it like to move into the future in faith? For me, it's kind of like walking right up to the edge of a cliff. Not that I'm afraid I'll fall, just that the world in front of me is so different from the one behind me. As I look out into the vast space in front of me, I can actually get a rush of adrenaline, a sense of the sky's the limit. So where does this leave us, my friends? How can you go forward in faith when you can't see what the future will bring? How will you move forward with new pastoral leadership? Can you embrace a sky's the limit attitude? As with most of life, there are not answers here. How many times have you heard me say that? All you can do is be open to the still, small voice of God. That voice assures you that hope and faith and good are in a future ahead of you. Wherever you land, the still speaking God lands with you, and future calls you into it. You must listen. 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 In closing, I want to share these lines of Stephen Sondheim from the musical Merrily We Roll Along. A group of students are preparing to graduate. They've walked up to that cliff, and despite their fears, knowing there will be difficulties, they embrace a future they cannot see. Hear these words. Behold the hills of tomorrow. Behold the limitless sky. Fling wide the gates to a world that waits as our journey starts. Behold, our hearts are high. Between the hills of tomorrow, at times the road may seem strange. The hills lie deep and the way is steep. But for those who dare, the world is there to change. Then raise the torch and seize the day. Behold, our banners fly to mark the way. Standards billowing, unsullied, proud. Visions bright, voices loud. Behold the hills of tomorrow, and skies more beautiful still. Behold, begin, there are worlds to win. May we come to trust the dreams we must fulfill. What are your dreams? Are you ready for a moment of truth?
Church family is constantly changing. People come and people go. Babies are born. Children grow up. People commit themselves to one another. Loved ones and friends among us come to the end of their lives. Individuals move into our community and church life. Others leave us to new places, new experiences, and new opportunities. It is important and right that we recognize these times of passage, of endings and beginnings. Today we share the time of farewell with Pastor Don retiring. Before we conclude our ministry, I have a couple of presentations, but I have a message. Reverend Brian Heron, now and former pastor of Eastminster Presbyterian Church. These are Brian's words to Pastor Don and to our church. I am sorry that I won't be able to attend Pastor Don's retirement Sunday, but I didn't want to let this pass without sending my congratulations to Don and my gratitude for him and all of you. The journey that we took nearly 10 years ago was courageous, spirit-led, faithful, and at times full of anxiety and nerves. But we listened to what God was doing amongst us and created a beautiful community out of 2 separate ministries. I will always be thankful for those early lunches with Don, when we were sharing our church's journeys with each other and seeing the first signs of a mission-minded PCUCC becoming part of Eastminster's legacy. After 6 years of ministry with Eastminster, it was hard to leave, but I left knowing that Don was the right pastor, called by God to lead the new and improved Parkrose Community United Church of Christ. I will always be grateful for all of you. I believe our experience together is largely why I now serve the 96 Presbyterian churches in Cascades Presbytery. I think you can take some credit for that. Don, I wish God's blessings upon you and Robert as you enter a well-deserved retirement. Enjoy, laugh, live, and love. A couple of presentations. You have some other cards and gifts that were brought in, but we have 2 very special ones that we want to present to you here this morning before we end our call. Martha Martin, on behalf of the youth and Christian Ed, would like to make this presentation.
The bag's big, but it's a gift. This was once you told me you were going to retire, the kids and I kind of schemed this, and we actually made it come to fruition, which was amazing during this time. Closures and rearranging schedules and things like that. We also wanted to honor your love of the ocean and all things sea life. So, with this, we hope that you can find a place in your home. The kids help design the fishes and the critters, and if this can be displayed on your porch or by a window, and we hope that every time you see the sun come through it that you think of the kids. They help design all the critters on there. So.
Thank you. Wow, that's great. One of the great joys of my ministry has been working with young people. When I first was called as the associate pastor at First Congregational in Salem, youth was part of my portfolio. And I told the pastor there, I said, I don't think I'm a youth pastor. And after a year I went to her and I said, I'm a youth pastor. Thank you, that's great. And it even has a giant orange cephalopod in it.
On behalf of your church, you. And there's an envelope with a monetary donation to you and Robert as you begin your new journey and the next chapter in your life. There are pictures spanning your years with Parkrose, and there's also a disc in here with a couple of videos on it, and there's going to be more pictures and videos coming. I think she shared with you.
The book is waiting.
Well, this is a pretty good sized book too. So I'd like to present to you, on behalf of your church, a book of memories of almost 11 years.
Thank you so, so much. This ministry has been the time of my life, and I say that in all honesty and sincerity. Who would have guessed that someone going to seminary at age 58 would wind up in a congregation like this that's just been fabulous. So thank you all for everything.
And now is our time. I'm sorry I'm not going through with it today.
Okay.
Just kidding. Pastor Don, on September 15, 2009, this local church called Don Frueh to serve as pastor.
I thank Parkrose Community United Church of Christ, its members and friends, for the love and kindness and support shown me over these last almost 11 years. I ask forgiveness for the mistakes I've made. I'm grateful for the ways my leadership has been accepted. And as I leave, I carry with me all I have learned and loved.
We receive your thankfulness, offer forgiveness, and accept that you now lead to retirement and new ministry opportunities. We express our gratitude for your time among us. We ask your forgiveness for our mistakes. Your influence on our faith and faithfulness will not leave us at your departure.
I forgive you and accept your gratitude, trusting that our time together and our parting are pleasing to God. In words of Stephen Schwartz from Wicked, you might tell that I'm a musical theater person. Here are these words from Stephen Schwartz. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn. And we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them. And we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I am who I am today because I knew you. I have been changed for good.
Now, do you, the members and friends of Parkrose Community United Church of Christ, release Don Frueh from the duties of pastor? We do with the help of God. Do you offer your encouragement for his ministry as it unfolds in new ways? We do with the help of God. Do you, Don Frueh, release this local church from turning to you and depending on you?
I do, with the help of God.
Do you offer your encouragement for the continued ministry here and on the relationship with another who will come to serve?
I do, with the help of God.
Morning. I'm Becky Martin, co-chair of the Committee on Ministry. Is this too loud? 15 years ago, I was on the Central Pacific Conference Committee on Ministry, and we met with Don Frueh to explore his call to ordain minister. I remember it as a spirit-filled meeting at which we enthusiastically affirmed Don's call, and he began his journey toward ordination. Just as Don was finishing seminary at PSR, we needed a summer interim at Ashland UCC, where I was a member. Don served us with his trademark joy and spirit. And I bring greetings to him from Julia and Mary, who remember the Bible. And now I'm again on the Committee on Ministry, and I am honored to be here to celebrate a call well answered, a ministry well lived. Thank you, Reverend Don Frueh. I'm Melanie Uman, the other co-chair of the Committee on Ministry, and on behalf of the Central Pacific Conference and the United Church of Christ, we witness to the words spoken. Words of thankfulness, forgiveness, and release. The member churches of our conference hold each of you in prayer, and we pledge our support in the transition signified in this service.
Thanks be to God, God whose everlasting love for all is trustworthy. Help each of us to trust the future which rests in your care. The time we have been together in your name saw our laughter and tears, our hopes and disappointments. Guide us as we hold these cherished memories, but move in new directions until that time to come when we are completely one with you and with each other. In your many beautiful names we pray. Amen. Pastor Don is leaving his stole and the cross here, so thank you. I don't know if we have any calling for prayers, but I do want to let you know that David Holstein is out of the hospital and is in a rehab facility now for a couple of weeks. So that's an update on David. Let us have a short prayer here and keep in our prayers all those who could not be with us today, who might be sick, who might be homebound, but we uphold them and know that they are with us with their thoughts and prayers today as well. Thank you all for being here to help Pastor Don celebrate. This isn't what we really planned, but it's turned out the rain has held off. Thank you, God. And just know that we are so blessed to have had Pastor Don with us, hold him up in his new beginnings, and just know that he will find new joy and fulfillment, whatever he may choose to do. In your many beautiful names, God. Amen. Actually, we were going to have a potluck is what we were going to have. Food, Robert, food. But, you know, I think this is pretty great. And yay! Thank you for being creative, to be able to let us say goodbye and farewell. And just know that you will continue to be in our hearts forever. We will have a new beginning. July 1st, the Reverend Diane Rodriguez joins us as our new interim pastor, and she is looking forward to meeting you, hopefully sometime in the future in person, but we will continue to survive doing what we've been doing. And thank you again for everyone's support. Thank you to all who have continued to keep up your offering and giving to the church. You can continue to do that way through monthly bill pay with your bank or credit union. We have a donate button on the church website, or writing a check and dropping it in the mail works well too. So we thank you for your continued support, that we can continue to remain as a church. We have a parting song. Not quite done yet, but we're going to have a parting song, This Little Light of Mine, and move I also want to thank Becky and Melanie for being a part of our service this morning too. So, thank you. And all of the trustees we're setting this up and Travis Martin back and Cammie, our official photographer. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Friends, our worship concludes, but our service continues. We didn't just go to church, we are the church. Go now, surrounded by our love and led by the promises of God, the presence of Jesus Christ, and the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Before we do our last response, the trustees are going to guide you after the service. Pastor Don will be down in front, and you'll be allowed to drive by to wave, can't get out. Well, your car's running, so you can't get out. So, you could, but we're not going to do that. Silly me, I think of those things. So, anyway, so he will be down in front after the service so that you can drive by and say goodbye. So, all right, our final response is justice and joy.
So we're going to dismiss everybody in an orderly fashion so we don't get a traffic jam. So it would be the berm and the small front row right here. Everyone on the berm can come forward.
I've got cables. Yeah, I'll help you out. Okay.
Okay, so everybody in the front row, as soon as the white Suburban goes by, your parade is going to be just a little bit different. We're going to start with the blue car way on the end, and in an orderly fashion, you're going to make a lap around and come back by so you can come right in front. All good? All right. Okay, we're ready. Go ahead. Lead us on.
How you been doing? Good. Good, thanks. Hanging in there. Yeah. Yeah, she's still in Florida. So far, so good there.
I didn't bring my jumper.
I've got some. I'm gonna.
I got jumpers in there.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. You can go. Well, you're gonna have to probably kind of back in that direction because she's gonna be in your